Hey everybody, thanks so much for watching. Today a side-by-side comparison of the original Canik TP9 SFX and his newer cousin, the updated version, the Canik SFX Rival. Two guns that are very similar in many ways but have several differences. If you've watched the channel before, thank you for coming back, but hopefully you'll have caught that I was able to borrow a friend's SFX Rival several months ago and do some shooting with it, and I was blown away by how much I liked it. It was my first Canik, and it was really a gun that I shot really well straight out of the box. We recently found one of these on sale for a crazy price at Palmetto State. Couldn't pass it up, so I've added one to my collection. This is my firearm. Now, I also happen to have another awesome friend who had the original TP9 SFX, and I thought, why not do a side-by-side comparison of the two in case you're on the fence about what's different on one versus the other, and is the price difference worth it for the Rival versus the original SFX? So I'll share everything that I know. Again, I'm fairly new to Caniks, so I welcome any feedback. If you have experience with Canik, the original TP9 SFX, or the Rival version, please sound off in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. But in general, a bunch of boring specs. And I'll start with price. And Canik prices are kind of all over the place. People definitely put them on sale. But if I focus just on MSRP, this guy, MSRP is for about $130 more than this guy. So as you look at them side by side, what do you get for the extra $130 here that you don't get there? Again, you can let me know if you think it's worth it or not. Now, the history on the guns, as best I know, is this guy came first, obviously. I believe it was introduced in 2016 at the, I don't know if it was introduced at SHOT Show or not, but it came out in 2016, and it won the 2017 Handgun of the Year in some magazine. I didn't note that as I was kind of making my notes for this video, but really well received right out of the gate for the SFX. It's an updated version of the Walther P99 targeted for shooters. Now, 6 years later, 2022, this guy was introduced at SHOT Show, and this does come in three colors, or two colors and a different module. It comes in the steel gray you see here. It comes in a blacked out version, and it comes with an all steel frame, which I am dying to shoot. Can't wait to get my hands on one of those one day. But so 6 years later versus the original. If I look at the boxes, this guy comes jam-packed with goodies in its box. This guy comes with even more goodies, more than you can imagine. Canik is really good about adding tons of value with their holsters, all the equipment, screws, mounting optics options that come with it, tons of features with them. You do get more in the new version than you do the original version, if that's worth anything at all. Size-wise, I thought they'd be identical, but they're not. The original SFX is slightly longer, has a 5.2-inch barrel versus the Rival's 5-inch barrel, and the overall length, 8.1 inches versus 8.3 inches. If you're looking at back-to-back here, I didn't realize that the original was a little bit longer. If I line the fronts up here slightly, you can see a little more gap here on the back. So again, 8.1 versus 8.3. Now, while this guy is bigger, the SFX Rival is slightly heavier at 29.5 ounces versus 29.3. I'm not sure where all the weight came from in here, but you'll see in a second they've done a lot to try and reduce that weight. And capacity, one other big difference, the original TP9 SFX comes with 18 plus 2 for 20 round capacity, 20 plus 1, where the Rival comes with 18 plus 1. Now, I believe these are both designed for different competitions where there may or may not be a limit on capacity on magazines. I'm not a competitive shooter. I just like to go to the range and be accurate. And again, this gun, both guns you'll see in some range footage rolling at the end, really helped me be really accurate or look good at the range. So again, I do get lots of requests for range footage. I parked it at the end so you can see how they both shoot. So thanks for watching to the end if you can. But what else is different about them? I'll just kind of start up top where again, I know this guy has the optics, so you've lost the rear sight. If you look at the new Canik, it looks like you have the same option here. You lose the rear sight if you put an optic on there. You both have the red fiber optic front up there, so those look identical. You do have the glare reducing texture here on top of the original SFX, where on the Rival you have lots of weight reducing cutouts on here. And you can also see the original SFX has just a standard barrel. The Rival has texturing on the barrel here that kind of coordinates with the way the top looks, as well as more texturing on the actual barrel itself. So again, I'm not sure if that's weight reduction, style, I am not real sure. Both have a dust cover overhang there with some cutouts in the bottom. So similar inspired styling there with pick rails, which is also, again, good for the accessories. I will note that the original Canik has a very small slide stop, slide catch on this side, where the new Rival has a much larger one that's very easy to actuate. But more importantly, the original Rival, or the original SFX, is only for right-handers. There's no slide stop on this side. The mag release is reversible. The Rival version has the larger slide stop on this side and on this side. So being a lefty, I really appreciate having access to the slide stop over here. I could reverse the magazine drop if I wanted to. While we're around the trigger guard looks a little bigger on the Rival. You can also see a second undercut here and more of an undercut under there, so you can get a really good purchase on there versus a more traditional cut there. Hopefully you can see that. More traditional cut here versus kind of double undercut there and a bigger undercut here. Texturing on the front strap and back strap, pretty much Goldilocks, not too rough, but rough enough. On the original Rival, on the original SFX rather, you have different texturing on the front strap versus the side. Again, you have the logo here versus the word Canik on the Rival version. They both come with adjustable back straps that have very similar texturing as well. And finally, the big thing I like to look at, talk about on Caniks that really impresses me are the triggers. And are they really that different? So you can see here, all firearms are cleared. If you look at the trigger in these firearms, you have a more narrow safety dingus on the original SFX. If that matters to you, and get finger placement on there. So you have some take up here, come to the wall, and you're pretty much at the wall, no creep. So that's the first shot and the reset. Caniks are usually really good. The Canik reset is that. That is fantastic. And you're back at the wall and it breaks again. So one more time, reset is that, audible, tactile, and short. And you're back at the wall. So fantastic trigger. And finally on the Rival, you can see you have a more interesting trigger here with a metal safety dingus in the center. The texturing is really good on that. You see the texturing on the actual dingus, but the fact that it is metal feels good. And if I take a look at the trigger there, the trigger feels better 100% in your hands for sure. And you can see the play, get to the wall, and it breaks clean again. Expect another really short reset here. Boom, and there's no reset. And then you're right back at the wall and breaks again. So ridiculous triggers on both firearms. So at the end of the day, is this Rival worth $130 more than the original TP9? If you like the styling, if you like the ambi features, maybe it is. If you like the triggers, you'll see in the video that I shot them pretty much equally well. This guy with the dot, this guy with just iron sights. I'm sure you can shoot either one just as well if you have the same setup. So I don't know that one is any more accurate than the other. For me, they both made me look really good at the range. So that is my kind of comparison, tabletop of both firearms. Again, I'll roll my range footage in here, shooting both side by side, and see what you think about that. But again, I would love to hear from you guys. What are your thoughts on the Canik TP9 SFX, the OG SFX, or his new bigger, or his new brother, who's not really bigger, just more expensive, and that is the Rival series. We'd love to hear your feedback, and as always, thanks so much for watching. All right, first up, Canik SFX, 7 yards. This has what I thought. I followed up with the SFX Rival, just irons. Shoot number 1.
Right now, like, yeah. I mean, 10 rounds. I'm sticking out like this one. 3 rounds. It's not bad. I mean, 15 more than those.
Lefty, love it.
Yeah. I mean, it almost felt like that's what got me to go for the Walther, because I was looking for another pistol and then I shot here.
Feel better with the dot. I like the way the SFX Rival shot better. Here I am with the dot and flyer, and then here I am. So for perspective, Rival. So I like the Rival better. Of course, I recorded this one. I took my time on the Rival second time, same distance, and a lot better groupings. So 17 rounds or 18 rounds to there and there. So again. So.